gonna start right in on our mat and our tabletop. And just start with cat-cow. All right, so remember guys to apply, something I loved about yoga, it made all my other exercise evolve and change and enhance. So, we're starting in movement rather than stillness. So still work the subtle body awareness and the breath quality. You're still using a simple exercise to kind of tune in. Big inhale, arches the back, big exhale, rounds the back. And it is good to take a few kind of right down the middle. It's a good general rule of thumb, when you're thinking of a warm up, get into the core, get into the back, the spine. Okay, so if you're just joining, we're in our cat-cow here, starting to connect to our breath. Remember, yogis, I want us to try to suggest a lot of nasal breathing. All right, so we try to keep the jaw closed intentionally. So you are kind of squeezing the jaw lightly. And the tongue is also going to the top of the mouth. There's all this science about how if the jaw activates, you're supposed to eat solid foods, right? That crunch to keep your jaw muscles strong and your tongue muscles strong. About all those muscles in the mandala and the tongue, controlling where the teeth are, keeping teeth healthy. And also, if the jaw gets weak, it pulls down on like the whole face. And it also causes it come down through the forehead. And the forehead can actually move back, the jaw can move back and down. And it can like restructure our face. So we want to try to keep our mouth closed as much as possible. Tongue to the top of the mouth, breathing in out the nose. Move your spine in a big circle. So we're just using these first two to really just kind of, like I like to say, move in ways that feel good, okay? Just circling out the spine, maybe shaking out your wrist. Maybe if you want to do a quick palm lift from a previous class. See how I'm just keeping my fingers down? I do lift my thumb, but the palm lift's kind of hard to see maybe. See that? Good way to stretch out, wake up the hand. Maybe roll the wrist, just shake it out once or twice. All right, we're gonna go down dog, toes tuck, hips go up and back. Take a few breaths. If you need a child pose instead, it depends on how you're feeling. Some days child pose is a really good feeling, you go there. In the beginning here, like I said, it's a little bit less challenge, a little bit more feel good. And as we move into class more challenge, less feeling good, right? So any warm up is fine. It's all regulars today. You can change it up a little if you need. But eventually we do want to take that inversion quality. So head gets low, hips go up and back, palms press down, legs start to engage. Arms start to engage more, and then more of that breath work. So yoga, initially I was talking about open up the spine, the back, the what we call the gross physical body, the biggest part of us, the most kind of part of us we can touch. And then there's even the subtle physical body. A lot of people say that breath is a subtle body, but you can really feel breath in a very physical way. I consider the breath more of like a bridge to the physical body. It's kind of like the heart chakra is the bridge to the upper higher chakras. The breath is exposing and controlling and, the mind. I consider the thoughts a little bit more the subtle body. Energy in a sense, in a way where it's more like pulsing in the body, fluid moving, the electrical body, the magnetic body. This is what I consider a little bit more of the subtle body, as opposed to just the breath. Breath is still quite gross body. You feel all these muscles and bones moving. Okay, get out of there, drop down to the knees, and let's do our first movement. I want to work on the extension pattern, so I'm not going to do the abs just yet. On inhale, right leg and left arm opposite. As I lift, do not let back arch. So pull that belly in. Left hand, right knee down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Alternating. If you want to do it in plank, go ahead. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Like I said, breath work is really in the picture here, guys. So it's a simple exercise where you can still have a lot of breath quality, okay? You're alternating side to side. You know, this is considered like the marching in place. A lot of times I'll have you do stuff like this, standing. It's kind of like the same thing. You notice that a lot in yoga. All these different things are actually the same. I remember when I was new to yoga, I was like, wow, there's so much variety and wow, all this new stuff. And then one day I realized, wow, it's all the same stuff. We're going to do a couple more things down here, guys. So let's save a little bit of energy. Next time you right leg lifts, left arm goes, hold it there, yogis. Hold it now. So static hold. What that is the movement is what's called like phasic activation. Phasic are like your big weight-bearing, moving muscular fibers. And then in a sense, the same muscles, but it's the tonic muscle fibers. They're like the stabilizer. Some people call them postural muscles, tonic muscles. So you go into this little kind of unstable, shaky space. So same type muscle areas, but kind of a different work for your muscles, okay? Second side, right knee, left hand down. Just remember, that leg lifting wants to arch the back. Pull that belly in, okay? Right arm forward, hold it. Drop your left hip down, pull your belly in, straighten those limbs. If it's easy, you can always do it in plank, right? All you have is a leg lifted. It's not that much weight. It's safe to do early. If there's ever like balance postures to do early, tree pose here. In a sense, you're warming up your phasic and balance muscles. Okay, we're going to do a few more things here in the tabletop. So take your time just to stretch out our ankles now. I'm going to sit back on my heels, widen my knees a little bit. Look at my spine is long. Not too difficult of an exercise. Hands go close together. Inhale, right arm goes out and up. So I'm using the arm to encourage rotation. I'm lifting my chest up and open. Exhale a little down and close, I say. Inhale a little bit up and open. Exhale down. So it's two exercises. The first one is extension of the spine, which means, in a sense, a subtle back bend and rotation. And the other one is this. It's a horizontal abduction, adduction. So if you know your fitness, it's a back fly and, in a sense, a chest fly. It's not weighted. It's not resisted. So it's warm up. I'm a big fan of those exercises you see in the gym. People like do a cable like this. I actually have you do this in class a lot, right? Here we're just kind of really focusing on more on the upper body. And we're going to come back into legs here in a moment. So we are going to do extra stuff on the hands here. So if you need to shake out your wrists, feel free, but make sure you are gripping your hands. Even in tabletop, the wrists can take a lot of weight. We're more likely to be lazy with the wrists, the hands, when the knees are down. Walk your hands back forward, please. Tabletop. Toes tucked. Second round to cat-cow. More active. Can we move freely in more strength and tension? Knees hover, toes tucked. My knees are hovering an inch. It is cat-cow. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Try a few more. Yeah, so basically the goal is just cat-cow with knees hovering. All right? That's pretty much the goal in all the postures. You know, when you're first doing yoga postures with weight, the tough ones, you tense up a lot. But then can you be strong and support that weight in forms, but also kind of free to move, not too rigid? All right? So that's a good little practice there for you. Big inhale, guys. Please go slow. Bring your knees down. Maybe shake your hips out. You can do one of these if you're ready. But I'm going to keep it going now. My right shin is going to hover. Now it's legs, okay? Right leg goes out and up. Right knee hovers an inch. Right leg goes out and up.
There's no weight. It's just the weight of your leg. You can do this first exercise. It's totally safe. So here, yogis, my right shin is hovering. Look at my right leg go out and up. And it comes down and hovers. Don't overstrain. Maybe you can only go about halfway up. We're not using it to peak out your strength, right? We're using it to wake up an action, which is a abduction horizontally. See that? I am hovering out there, though. You know I'm a big glute guy. Got to get those glutes strong, yogis. We already did straight leg extensions. Now we're doing the glute medius, the outer leg a little bit more. If you're just joining, you kind of missed some of the warm-up. You missed cat-cows. We did 2 rounds. We did some opposite leg and arms. We did some twisting and down dog. So don't be shy to throw in a little extra warm-up. Second side, we're trying to get 6 reps minimum. 12 to 15 reps is more of like a standard to get toward, okay? Especially with no weight. So like say I'm doing, yogis, say I'm doing like, yesterday I did weighted squats, right? I did take, eventually I did like 6 sets, 225 on my back, and I'm squatting with the weight. But what did I do in the beginning? I took no weight and I did like 4 range squats. No weight, right? And then I took my first weight and I went like half squat. Half squat. I'm like progressively building range and weight, not just weight, but also you always start with like less weight and then you build up weight, like side plank. You could say could be a weighted expression of what you're doing right now, okay? Less range to start, halfway up, build it up, and then more weight as we go, okay? Now, go slow here, guys. We're gonna meet with back knees down, arch and round. Oh, and as you build weight, you do less reps. It was my real main point. In the beginning, you could do like 10, 12, 15 reps, no weight. But then you're going to get, yesterday I did like 205, I did like 6, 225, I did 3. So it's different approach as you build weight, right? So let's do one more of our opposite leg and arm. Now adding the crunch that you're very familiar with. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. It's a really good one, yogis. I know we do this one a lot. Some of this stuff can get a little repetitive, but when you're looking at how your body works in such complex ways, this covers so much ground. I want you to remember this exercise. Don't get bored with this one. It's too good. You get too many complex benefits here. In a sense, your body always is using tonic and phasic muscles. In a lot of these things, like say like a squat, you're not really using the tonic. Don't use this one a lot, okay? Tabletop, second side, right into it. Let's keep the heart rate building. On your inhale, left leg, right arm. On your exhale, core crunch. Go ahead. The main thing I want you to look out for, guys, is as you lengthen, the back is going to want to overarch. Pull the belly in against it. That's what's making it more core, okay? We're going to do a few more things down here. I'm actually going to take you off of your hands now, and we're going to do a little bit more of the forearm plank work, okay? So that's a big movement. There's extension. So there's big back line. Arching in the back is shortening back body. Lifting the leg up is glutes. So you hit the whole back, right? Calf and hamstring there as well. Now, let's tighten it all up. No movement. Let's bring it down. Just to give your wrist a good breather. Elbows under shoulders. Remember, this is half plank. So people coming out of like spinal surgeries and not very good at planks, you start here. Just notice my hips are about as high as my shoulders. I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm here. So right there is that half plank. I do want to squeeze my butt still and pull my belly and spread my back. And as you get good, you kind of, this is how you started. Watch. toes tucked, one knee hovers. And you work on getting light in the knee. With practice, the other foot down, and you have them kind of lift up slow. We're gonna go a good minute and a half more. You're on the clock. Plank hold. What I see a lot is people, there's a full body. People aren't using the full body. They're using some body parts too much, particularly the shoulders, okay? You gotta work on engaging your legs. You know, when it's simple. Well, how do you learn to do something well? You study what the best do, right? You wanna be a golfer, you study the best golfers, right? Or whatever your thing is. The best plank holder in the world, all he talks about is it's all in his legs. He said he doesn't feel his shoulders for the first 5 hours because it's all in his legs. You know, it's the same in down dog. Everyone's in their shoulders too forward. We got to work on shifting weight back into the legs. And he always talks about it's not the front legs. It's not easy to start. You know, think about it. The weight is in your quads, your hip flexors, your abs, your knees, your shins. That's where like the weight actually is. But what's holding those front muscles up is the back muscles. All that weight's there, but all those muscles are connected through the back body. So your hamstrings, your butt, your calves, those are kind of in a sense holding up the front muscles that are taking the tension. Last 20 seconds. Learning to use your back body, I've experienced it. It makes this so much easier. I can hold 10-minute plank because I'm learning to engage my back body better. Now, granted, I can't hold a 10-minute plank every day, but on a good day, right? Big inhale. Take it down to the chest, guys. So there's our first big plank hold. They call it like the triple tension. So I might want to do a little bit of this. Anytime we're building a lot of tension, I want you to release it out. We are going to do our back bend, and then we'll do a nice twist for you to loosen up a little bit more, okay? A dynamic rotation quality. Hands near lower ribs. I suggest starting here. Cobra 1, engaging the legs. Same thing. Engage where you don't activate enough in all poses, okay? That's what we're doing. Turn on the body where it doesn't turn on enough. That shows you type of neuromuscular patterns, like how your nervous system is programmed and integrated throughout the body, your brain's kind of connection to muscles. It's a big thing. It's just a neuromuscular reprogramming, if you want to talk modern. And it's also that other tendency, like where do you overstrain? It's like you're over-programmed to overwork certain areas. Now, if you want to go higher here, guys, watch me. I do use my hands, but I'm still using my back to resist lowering down, okay? So anti-flexion. I'm using my hands to extend, but I'm using my back muscles to resist. That's like a negative. So just like a push-up, the lowering down is like the negative. Yeah, you might not be able to do a push-up or a lot of them, but how do you get that strength if you can't do them? You hold the plank or on your knees and you lower down slow. So using a negative is a great way to do exercise building that you can't do the real exercise part or the push up. You just get what you have. If you can't do push-ups, this is what you do. You go here, you lower down as slow as possible. And then you kind of press back up on your knees and you lower down as slow as possible. In a sense, you lower down multiple times in a row. It's the same here, but reverse. If you can't lift your back up high with strength, you get up there and then you lower down as slow as possible. How do you teach people to do pull-ups? You have them jump up there and then lower down as slow as possible. Jump up there, lower down as slow as possible. Same principle. Okay, now listen, let's do a mobility drill here, kind of like a release. So big twist now, guys. You got to kind of pay attention. Think opening and releasing a little bit more. Arms go forward. As we do a lot of strength, we got to make sure we're breaking up tension patterns. So arms are forward. Watch. Right knee goes wide to the right. Right arm goes out and up and out. So my chest turns toward the sky. You're going to feel a stretch in your chest, your back, your hips. Okay? Right leg back, right arm forward. Left knee goes wide. Right arm might go a little to the left. Left arm goes out and up. It's reclining spinal twist, but a movement in and out, side to side. Left arm goes forward. Right knee wide, right arm up and over. Right arm forward, left knee wide. So the thing is, I'm kind of going like this, yogis. If you see me, I'm here. This is sometimes confusing for people. My right knee goes wide. I twist to the right and up to the sky. So a lot of times people are kind of rolling onto their back, but that knee doesn't go out. That's what I want to see. That right knee go wide. It's kind of like a half moon movement. It's tricky to see, right? Half moon and then revolve half moon. Same thing. Left knee goes wide. I twist left and then up and over. Okay. It's about as big as you can move your body. This one, it's sneaky. It seems simple and subtle, but it's a really big dynamic movement. Close your eyes. Remember 6 to side, maybe more of a standard, getting towards 12 or 15 per side. They talk about like 21 being more of that standard repetitions. I'll be right back, yogis. Keep going. We're teaching our little pup. She rings a bell when she needs to go out on the balcony to go to the bathroom. So she just did it. Got to keep her training, right? Now listen, come back to center. So we're not going to hold that just yet. Okay? We're going to press back up. If you want to do a quick child pose. We're going to meet back in tabletop. And now we're just going to go through basically a couple of chaturangas. So push-ups. If I could show you, obviously you know this version. Putting it all together, now forward and back. We just did big rotational qualities, lateral movements as well. More challenging, watch me here. Obviously extra push-ups, but if you're feeling up to it now later in class, I bend my elbows, they hug in. My nose grazes the floor, my chest grazes the floor, my hips graze the floor, my chest lifts up, I go back down. Chest grazes the floor, chin, nose grazes the floor, back and up. So it's this big wave-like movement. Okay? It's a little bit different way of trying something you're doing a lot of. Go a little twist on it, okay? Chaturangas. It's also just too good not to do, really, right? I always do at least a few in my warm-up or depending on how I'm feeling to loosen up. So if I'm feeling good, I'll do some really strong. If I'm doing a little bit more of a release practice or warm-up form, lighter, okay? Let's rise up onto our knees, please. This is one I'm going to start to make sure we're doing regularly in this class. It is like a plank. I want you to think of it like that, okay? So your body's going to want to do stuff like this and this. Try not to let that happen. Hands can start on hips. I'm just going to press my feet down. I'm going to lean back a couple inches. Now the key is, yogis, is to squeeze your butt, okay? So if my back wants to arch or my hips want to flex, squeezing your butt will kind of stop that. So squeeze your butt, lean back a little bit, squeeze your butt, squeeze that butt. And exhale back up, okay? So in my exercise routine, this is gonna be into play today, okay? So you're leaning back, keeping your posture intact. You're not arching, you're not rounding forward, okay? So remember, this is from I did a knee rehab workshop. I didn't include this because this is like athletic knee rehab. If you have to pick one knee rehab exercise, it might be this because it's tension through shin and quad and hip flexor. So it's the compound. If you want to make your knees super strong and stabilize through the front body, this is one of my favorites. Now try to get into one and hold. So instead of doing something like a push up, you do like a plank. So we did moving in and out, and then we kind of hold here. You work on squeezing your butt, a little bit more lifting in the chest. You just hold. You don't have to be far back. I can go much further back here, but this is enough tension right now for me. Squeeze your butt. It's the same idea in a squat. Even though up at the top it's a knee extension, you squeeze your butt at the top. Connect your butt to your thighs. Muscles are designed to work together. You can have like strong isolated muscles, but they don't work together well. That idea of supporting each other. There's not much happening, guys. So let's get out of there. Take your time. I will do another round. Just kind of shake that out a little bit. That's an exercise a lot of us are new to. I am going to go into plank work. We will switch up the plane. We are going to do side plank, nice and simple. If you want to do like more challenging variations, you can. So maybe, you know, on your forearms to give your wrist a breather. It's up to you. Okay. Now, gentle side plank is this, left forearm in. And here's a good place to start stuff like this. If you want it to go challenging, another option is to go here. So I kind of go down, knees down, hips down, thigh up and hips up. It's a really good one. It's subtle movement. More challenging is here, all the way. Very challenging, right? I want something really in your side body now. You know, we did two things in the side. Now we really up the ante. Just like forearm plank on the knees is gentle plank. Well, they call it beginner side plank is on forearm and shins. Remember that this isn't really like a side plank, yogis. Well, I just can't see, right? So this is not like a side plank. It's more like a half moon. To really get into side plank, we have to be like here or here. Where here, your core is working on stabilizing with your pelvis. That's where the weight is. If I'm here, you don't have that, okay? It's very different. So I want you to distinguish the difference there. We're gonna do our second side. After, you know, we're about to come standing soon, and then we're gonna hit your abs really hard in the end, okay? So do your second side. Right forearm does turn in. Some of you are like this. See, if I'm on my forearm, it kind of turns in. So the shoulder isn't so hyper rotated. Medial, not medial either, but like kind of like that. Do your second side, either hold side plank, move your hips up and down a little bit, work on maybe engaging your butt a little bit more. I know side plank's difficult, guys, but you know, a difficult exercise, pretty simple. The more difficult, the more you're gonna change. You know, that's why like yesterday, I needed that peak round of squatting, 225, you know, and I don't have to do a ton of it, but I need that few moments in a very chaotic, muscular experience. Very emotional, almost scary, okay? You got to have those moments in the body where you're really on your edge of, you know, emotional, mental composure. So key. If your exercise is not emotional, you're going to get minimal change and growth. Okay, now that's the side body. So I want you to go one more time in our lean back. All right, so this is a beginner exercise, but you really just go back a little. If you're new to it, most likely the thing people aren't doing is squeezing the butt. That's what I need you to really focus on, okay? Here we go, inhale, lean back. Pausing, coming back up. Lean back, feel the tension. The tension's the front line. Right? Tension means your body is trying to fall back, but you're not letting it. All right? Because the muscles are in a lengthened position. Go ahead, come back up. I would like you to do one more round, really focused. This is the reverse Nordic, right? It's unreal. Not really classic yoga, but we want to be well-rounded. We don't want to get narrow-minded about how we approach our body because it's not taught in Ashtanga or something like that. You know, in yoga, sometimes we lack like active knee extensions. And this is, in a sense, the same exercise, okay? Building those muscles around the front of the knee, all right? Now, I want to do last plank work. I want to do the rotational plank. So today's plank day. So again, you can come down to the forearms. Rotational plank is quite simple. I have options. Heels to the left, inner edge of right foot, outer edge of left. The key is to keep your forearms down and hold. You could dance a little side to side, but I want you to do it in a way where you're slowly feeling the rotational qualities of your core activate. If you just go really fast side to side, there's not much self-awareness, yogis. I mentioned how yoga made all my exercise evolve. You know, just for that, people should do yoga. You know, a lot of fitness people, you hear them, they're like, I just mentioned being narrow-minded. They don't like yoga. Most likely they haven't done too much or they've done one style. Yoga is about mindfulness and how we're working our body here. Asana, all right? Being more self-aware in the body. And it'll teach us a lot of breath work. Go outside with it, please. All right, so you're doing a little twisting core work in your plank until you basically fail. Big thing in this kind of class, you work on pushing yourself, okay? So listen, I'm gonna do one more thing here. Now this is like the stretch that you just did, a version. Now I wanna rise up. Now I'll take my hands behind. We were just here a lot, right? We were here, here. You're kind of like this actually too. I wanna go here now. Don't think hyper range. Squeeze your butt, engage your palms, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Your hips do go forward a little bit. And I work on lifting up as my shoulders go back and down. I'm not necessarily stretching a lot, okay? Now, what happens is people tend to arch their back like this. I want you to see a posterior tilt. You know, physically, if we have to think just real physical, there's one thing I want you to take away from my instructions. It's more awareness of how your pelvis is working. It's not an easy thing to kind of grasp because it's a lot of subtle stuff in the body. It's not like, oh, move your leg. It's obvious. But this stuff, where the pelvis is moving, and we started with cat-cow, and that really starts that. That's what I want you to be aware of. Let's get out of there, guys. Down dog. Walk your hands to the back of your mat. Take your forward bend. Let's take this quick little stretch now. We just did a back bend. Now we'll do a little forward bend. Big inhale. Exhale, forward bend. If you want a little bit more, we did a lot on the wrist today. You can turn your palms face up. Look how I step on my wrists. So my toes are on my wrist, like right in the crease. And I'm even like lifting the heels to kind of press down into my hand more. Okay, my elbows could hug in, my leg could start straightening more, my head can hang lower. Or you can, do this one. We just kind of did that, but on your forearms, a little swaying. We will come up to standing for about 10 minutes after this stretch. Some mornings the pup, she sleeps while I teach, and some mornings she's going crazy, and today is a crazy day. All right, so listen, guys. Yeah. All right, so let's make our way up to standing, maybe loosen up a little bit like this. The planks, the lean backs, they were all pretty tense, so you might want to take a moment, lift the leg, twist out the spine, shake out your arms. All right, so we are going to go into the squatting. I do want to try to teach squats regularly. If you want to work it's not the beginning, so you could work in a sagittal squat where your feet are asymmetrical. You could work in a jumping squat. If you're feeling really good, you add a little jump to your squat. But feet are going to go a little bit wider than hips, maybe slightly turned out. I don't want this just yet. I'm going to give options as we go. Not parallel either, okay? So a little bit wider, a little bit turned out. If you want to go shoulder strength, arms go forward. So this is like plank. I stack my left hand on top of my right. It looks like this. And as the Kriya Yoga say, a dynamic meditation. Okay? Go into a meditative experience with your breath and body in moving. Moving is the kinetic energy. When we're holding postures, that idea of like the potential energy here, that kinetic pumping. Now, don't forget, if you want your glutes to work in squats, you have to go deep. This is a glute squat if you're not rotating or abducting. So when I squat with weight, I always, granted, 225, I didn't go, I went half squat. But 205, 185, 135, I went all the way down, all the way up. If you want your butt to work from a squat, you can't go halfway down. You gotta go down further, okay? Now, it's not gonna be easy for everyone, so you don't have to go down. I'm just make sure we're clear here. Now, you want a little bit more, watch me. I jump a little bit, but look at how soft I land. I add that little fast twitch. You're still going. Okay, another little fun option here, yogis, is my feet are, symmetrical. Watch. I hop my feet a tiny bit wider, and I turn my feet out, okay? And then I hop my feet even closer. Hop my feet even closer. Knees are together now, and you see how each squat, the feet are in a different position, okay? This is supposed to be really difficult. If it is, you're doing it right. Now listen, what I want you to do is take a little breather, shake out your legs a little bit. Just like before, you can do one of these. Okay, you can shake your legs out a little bit. It might feel good to do a little bit of this. We are gonna do a second round. I want this to be like a peak heart rate. You're sweating, it's strenuous, you're fighting to survive. Okay, left hand on top of right. This is like a very classic form we haven't done in a while. Holding the arms up. In the beginning, I'll have you move your arms more, but we've done enough on the arms. So you're here. Go ahead. You hear that breath. You hear that power. Okay, this is a power movement. It is squatting. Close your eyes if you can. Get into it. Another little fun thing you can do. Since you have the counterbalance arms forward, it helps you squat better. I could watch, step my right foot 3 inches behind and try to squat there. That's called a sagittal squat, where the legs are a little bit asymmetrical, okay? I don't have a parallel. I have one in back, a few inches to start. I do 5, 10 there, and then I step the left foot in back of the other foot. So that's a really good way. If we only squat symmetrically, you're only strong in that little like isolated line. Make sure you're breaking down the boundaries of alignment sometimes. We get too structured, yogis. We get too rigid about how it has to be. I hear yoga teachers, to an extent that's a good cue, say that you're doing it wrong. I try not to use that word a lot, because that label of wrong and right, in a sense, there's too much context involved. Is this exercise right or wrong? Well, what's your objective? What's your condition? What's your intention? How are you feeling? Right? Now, make sure you keep going. I'm trying to get you to go. I didn't say it, but about a minute and a half. We're going big today with this stuff, okay? We got to get the legs moving a lot. The tensions, the planks, there's not much movement in the legs. Don't forget squatting. I always say, if I don't squat every day, I'm not feeling right. So I pretty much squat, whether it's a peak exercise like yesterday or a warm-up. Some ways I squat, okay? Every day, pretty much. Let's get out of there when you're done. Really nice job with your squats. I know how tough that is. We only have about 3 more standing exercises, okay? So I do want to work this one in. Now, we did side plank hold. We did lateral hip lifts. Now we go biggest lateral movement of class. It is a mobility drill. It's big, okay? Think triangle, but moving. So my feet are about 3 foot apart, maybe closer to 4, okay? I gotta turn both feet to the right. I'm gonna go like this here, and then I'm gonna drop my right hip down. I'm gonna reach out. Now, beginner, it looks like that. Boom. Right hip dips down, body moves laterally out, and then body moves laterally down, and then boom, all 3 back. So it's this movement. If you want a little easier, it looks like this. But notice my spine, it doesn't go like that. You see how the sides of the spine stay long? What you see a lot of people doing this one. No, that's not what we're looking for here, yogis. It's not actually lateral flexion, okay? It's more of a lateral tilt, lateral hinge. So lateral flexion is where we do like this more, where the spine actually side bends. We are not doing that right now. We are laterally tilting, laterally hinging, it's called. Connecting your pelvis to your midsection. That's why this one's gonna sting, because it's the QL is connecting your ribs to the crest, okay? Pretty much do this one like really regularly too. There's not many movements that are gonna replicate what that one's doing, okay? 1 round, remember 6 to maybe 12 or 15 if you're feeling really good. The idea, if you can get to like 21, it's kind of like your body's getting really good at the movement. You can add weight or holding. So back to the second side, or second side. Again, I'm adjusting my feet here because different side to side. Engage my legs, and here we go. Just notice from here, yogis, I don't go forward. See that? I just go laterally. I'm not going forward. Sometimes you see that here, guys, that we tend to go forward here. It's not that, it's lateral. Try to engage your legs, make it core. I'm just breathing a little loud so you can hear me. In and out the nose, please. All that new stuff, the nasal breathing, the yogis know it. Thousands of years ago. The nose is the main breathing apparatus of the body. Mouth is more for eating and talking, okay? It's a backup in case you get too clogged. And what happens is you get a lot of allergies. The nasal is always clogged and you become a mouth breather, and it starts to, from a young age, change the chemistry and the structure of the skull, the brain. It affects the eyes a lot. It does affect like how we talk, our lips. The studies in orthodontics about how kids that become mouth breathers, they slur their words, they can't articulate their lips and tongue as well. We want to make sure we're remembering to nasal breathe pretty much always, okay? Now, when you're done there, I want you to get out of there nice and slow. So we're not going to go symmetry right now, but it's a warrior 3 hold. If you want to go big, standing splits. If you want to go light, tree posture, handstand hop is good too. Standing up, squeezing the butt, hovering left foot, and let's hinge. This is a static hold now. We did squats, bent knee. We did lateral movements, straight leg. It's more pelvic tilt. Now we go big legs, straight leg. Drop your top hip down, yogis. So that left leg lifting wants to take the hip with it. Drop it down, lean the weight a little bit more forward, hold position and breathe. If you want more, you can reach your arms forward beyond your ears today. Warrior 3. I love this pose. I love that exercise, whether it's dynamic or static. It's too good. Can't not do this one. Like even though side plank's fantastic, there's so many substitutes. You can like skip that a lot of days. But Warrior 3, it's too good to kind of try to find a substitute. Pigeon stretch is so easy. Great stretch, but yeah. Okay, big inhale. Good job. Stand up. And you want to think of this like a plank. After this, we're going to hit your abs quick and a final posterior core. And then boom, we're going to be done with any physical activity. I am going to do one quick final standing easier exercise. Right leg lifts, left leg goes, is the balancing leg.
One round of a really intense, devoted warrior three hold. Very still. Remember, that's now anti-movement. The last two things were crazy movements, especially the squat, and then a little more subtle tension movements. Squats, compression movement, lateral triangles, tension movement, and now it's like anti-movement. Don't let your body move. Get your pose and hold. If it's very difficult, you're doing it right. Squat is upright, lateral movement in the triangle, and now you're really bent over. So big bent over hold. Anytime we bend over, it's more core. Anytime we balance, it's more core. Now we have both.
Nice job there, yogis. So I do want to do one little lunge. It's a little bit more of a release here, guys. Dynamic. So it's the step back with the spiral, the coil. As my left leg goes back, my left arm goes up and over. Think dynamic stretching. Right hand can go on the back of the leg. You can pause. Here, left foot forward, neutral. You can do the Yagoda, the squeezing of the body, the butt. Right foot back, right arm goes up and over. Neutral, left arm. If left leg goes back, left arm goes forward and across. From the front, it looks like this. Right foot back, right arm up across. Neutral, boom. Left leg back, left arm forward, up across. Okay? It's the coil dynamic approach. If it's too much, guys, just do like this, like a lunge. You know, we got to get a lunge in here. If you're feeling up to it, add the twist. So the first idea is like the leg asymmetry back, and then the second part is like the spinal asymmetry and the arm asymmetry. So this is first. That's more second, okay? You can do this one too, but can't get too detailed there. Remember the triple lunge we were doing? We've done a few times where we kind of, you know, we step back, we go forward with the arms, we step back to the right, and we go like kind of triangular there, and then we go lateral. I messed that up actually, but this can be part of that like triple lunge series where you hit all three planes in like the lunge form, okay? So that is our coil. We did one earlier where we went like this. In a sense, it's kind of a second round in that. Get out of there, shake it out, come to the top of your mat. If you want to do a couple calf raises, that might feel good. If you want one last vinyasa, you're more than welcome to, but I'm just going to take you down for yogi squat and right down to your butt. So we do want to hit our abs. It is core class, right? We did a lot more abs last week. So I'm going to bring you right down to your back. Lift my chest, curl. Could start by going here. So I'm holding the crunch. And then I'm adding a lever. If you want a little bit more, both legs in. But the key is, yogis, don't let your back arch. You can support your head like I am here, my neck. Want a little bit more? Pop the pelvis, legs forward, pop. If it's easy, legs straight. You know, the lower back's got to stay down, yogis, okay? Remember, the idea is to hold the spinal flexion, cat spine, a rounding of the spine. So your back's gonna wanna arch. Our objective is to round. So push your lower back down flat, please. So this is called a leg swing, okay? The EMG charts are pretty clear that this is gonna really work your abdominal muscles a lot. So it's hard to beat, but it is very symmetrical, right? It's very forward and back. Your abs don't really work like that, really, but we do wanna teach them to work together. Now listen, now bring your head down, your arms down, your shoulders down. If you have a block, throw it between your thighs. We got to do this one regularly, guys. Knees go to the right, pause. Try to roll your left ribs down, squeeze your block, pull your belly in a little bit. If it's easy, it's straight legs. So I did take you out of spinal crunch. You are not in spinal crunch anymore. Your knees are over to the side. Now come back to center and do your second side. Knees go about halfway, a third to the side, and you hold. If you're really good at it, you go lower, right? You know, basically the tension goes into a bigger rotational range. But always start with less range. In a new exercise, if you're tight, kind of weak in that body part, you build range as you get better at it, guys. If you want to build strength, less range is a good general rule of thumb initially. Range is progressive. As you get better at it, you increase range. One more time, please. Knees center. You're going to go over to the right. If it's easy, straighten your legs, go lower. You can even add like a little, very, very micro kind of pulse. I want you to be in a big rotational quality today. And then you're going to do your final side here. So knees center over to the left. There's not many substitutes for this. You know, it's a lot of times when we're doing these micro crunch twists, it's nowhere near as a big rotational tension stabilizer. It's very different than doing like a crunch twist, let's say, or I have you do hand to opposite foot. This is also kind of in a league of its own. There are some substitutes, but not with this much like weight in the tension. I like to do this with my ankle weights on with a straight leg. So listen, we're going to come back to center. And to finish up our core, this is something simple we have not done. You can bring your feet down, you can keep your legs here, you can go here. We're going to curl the upper body one more time. But this time, we move the legs side to side, forward and back. Now we'll pulse the chest. It's a very small pulse. My lower back must stay down. I gotta go slow. Okay, so I did that. I did my reverse crunch. Now I'm doing my crunch. Let's go strong here and pulse. Okay, last 30. Go big. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Keep going. This is it, yogis, for your abs. So work it. I don't want to have you do like too much abs in one day. I'd rather have consistency. All right. So we did a lot of planks today, and a lot of side body, about 15, 14, 13. Keep going. Come on now. This is where you're getting stronger right here in the end when you want to quit. Five, four, three, 2, and 1. Nice job there. I do want to do one counter. We didn't do much active extensions. Hopefully you got some of the butt work in the squatting, but if you didn't, you got to do your bridge here. If you squat deep, we did a couple leg extensions, but non-weight bearing. So if you want to go up to a quick bridge, if you're a little tired and done, very active class, guys. So you could go block under your butt. If you feel like you're spent here, if you want to go a little bit bigger, block between your thighs, you can go your bridge. You can even go up and down like a hip thrust. You can even flip your hands over your shoulders and go for a wheel if you're feeling really good, okay? So let's do another minute here in our back body core, which is, you know, your glutes.
And just make sure in your bridge, you know the deal there of squeezing your heels kind of more toward your shoulders, which shifts some of that activation into your hamstrings. It might feel nice to even like lift your heels a little bit, or even the ball of the feet, kind of intentionally doing a little activation extra in the feet here. Don't forget to pelvic tilt. Try to press your big toe down, and then the pubic bone comes forward and up. So the pubic bone is higher than the navel. So if my right hand's my navel, my left hand's my pubic bone, it kind of goes like that. So your bottom of your pelvis is higher than the top of the pelvis. Again, pelvic tilt, not easy to see, feel, and do there, okay? So if you're doing a wheel, you know, take a little breather. So it is about 9:57. I'm gonna give a quick stretch here. You know, sorry guys, we can't like stretch a lot in every yoga class. It's a little bit more of a strength-based class, all right? Yogis get obsessed with stretching, right? And it's like some of my weightlifter friends, they never stretch. They work out like every day. I'm like, do you stretch? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, how much? They're like, 5 minutes before I exercise, 5 minutes before I lift. I'm like, you know, it's like the opposite mind state of a lot of yogis. They want to like stretch so much. Nice middle ground. If we stretch too much, gentle yoga's tomorrow night and flexibility was last night. So I'm just leaving out stretch on Tuesdays, okay? So you did your final, looks like a lot of you are done there. A couple of you are still going in your bridge and wheel. I want to do a quick stretch. You know, figure 4 might be good. So, you know, I'll just give you a quick, you know, 45 seconds per side. If you want to do a quick here, boom, figure 4 might be good. One other nice option could be rolling onto your side, stretching your front thigh, as opposed to, I'm making you pick now. Okay, you can't do every hip stretch every class. Which one do you do less of? This is stretching my front thigh, roll to my side or reach back. Pan my head. Okay, I pull my ribs in as I pull the knee behind me, heel to my butt. This would be hamstring if you wanted it. One hip stretch of choice, please. Close your eyes, slow down. Breathe deep in and out your nose. Now go slow, you switch up sides. I'm not gonna do a twist here, yogis. We did the spiral dynamic in the lunge. We already did like a reclining twist just in a dynamic form, remember earlier on our chest, and we just did another one on our back. They were just both moving. That's called mobility, you know, movement and strength within kind of stretching range of motion development. So that's our approach in this class a little bit more often than not, okay? Now remember, you know, when I was in myology, like 2 or 3, my teacher said, stretch it. She has her PhD in anatomy. She also has one of her masters in education. She was like president of education at the private school where I got my anatomy degree. So lucky to have her as a professor because a lot of the people going through the program didn't have her. I got very lucky. My sister went through the same program and didn't get Cindy and Lou because there's like a couple of sets of teachers. And she said, stretching makes muscles weaker. It's not that stretching is bad or not to be done but if you stretch too much, it's obvious that weight and strengthening make muscles tighter, right? But stretching makes muscles weaker. So if you're in that category, yogis, some of your muscles are a little underdeveloped. By definition, she also taught me a muscle is designed to be strong. If a muscle is weak, by definition, it's like lost its function. Okay, so today's a strengthening class with a little less of the stretch. So you're done with your final hip stretch there. If you want to do a little happy baby, or if you want to go big, kind of swing your legs up over your body, plow, or if you want to throw your legs up on a block in the air, get a little drainage. Okay, so I'm going to give you a last minute. I do have 10:01. I try not to go over, but it looks like we're going to go about 5 minutes over today. Remember the good old days where yoga classes were 75 minutes? All right, wonder if we'll ever be there again. My one job has all the Bay Club has all the classes at 50 minutes, and Equinox has about 45 minutes. They're all like really shortening the time that we get in the yoga room. So when you're done, I want you to do a short meditation. The idea is kind of the more we strain the body, the more we stimulate the strained nerves of the heart. We want to practice that calming. Okay, it's kind of like the more stressful your day, the more you need the meditative, grounding, restorative meditation practice in that day. If you have a cool, calm day on vacation, you don't need the meditation as much because your day is easy. But if you have a strong, rough, stressful day, whatever it is, politics, your family, work, you need more of that calming. It's the same with exercise. The stronger your exercise, the more calming you need. So our final pose, please. A intentional, strategic, calming practice. Maybe a breath or two. Close your eyes eventually and just be. Don't do a lot. Final part of class. We're just going to go 2 to 3 minutes, yogis.